There are moments when the world grows quiet, when the air seems to thicken with memory, and you suddenly feel that someone is near. You can't see them, can't prove it, yet something inside you knows this isn't imagination. Almost everyone who's lost someone dear has felt it. A brush of warmth in an empty room, a sudden calm that eases a restless night, or that mysterious feeling that someone is standing just beyond your sight, watching over you. Edgar Cayce often said that love does not end at death, it simply changes its vibration. In his view, when a soul leaves the body, it doesn't vanish into some unreachable realm. It moves into a higher frequency of existence, still intertwined with those it loves. To Cayce, the departed are not gone. They remain close, sometimes more aware of us than we are of them. He described death as a gentle transition, a moment of awakening, when the soul recognizes that it has only set aside its garment of flesh. What follows, Cayce said, is not distance, but connection. The newly departed soul's first impulse is not to wander off. It is to reach back, to comfort those still grieving. And that perhaps explains why so many of us feel their nearness. Cayce's reading suggested that in the first stages after death, the soul stays close to familiar surroundings, drawn by affection, unfinished love, and the desire to reassure. These moments are not supernatural disturbances, they are acts of love continuing to express itself across worlds. Over decades of trance sessions, Cayce shared glimpses of what these connections look like, small, tender signs that those who have passed are still with us. Some are subtle, like the feeling of being watched over. Others are vivid, like dreams that carry more reality than waking life. But each is meant to remind us of a single truth: separation is an illusion. Today we'll explore 6 of those signs, how they manifest, why they happen, and what Cayce said they mean. These are not superstitions or wishful fantasies. They are bridges, built out of the most enduring energy in existence, love. So if you've ever felt a sudden stillness in the air, or found yourself speaking softly to someone who's no longer there, perhaps it wasn't just emotion. Perhaps it was recognition. According to Cayce, the departed remain close for one simple reason: they are not finished loving us. And if we know how to listen, really listen, we'll notice that their presence never truly left. Sign 1. The subtle presence. According to Cayce, the first and most common way the departed reach us isn't through grand miracles, but through quiet presence. He explained that when a soul leaves the physical body, it doesn't immediately rise into some distant realm. It remains for a time within the vibration of the world it knew, drawn by affection, concern, and the energy of unfinished love. That's why so many people in the days or weeks after a loss report the same uncanny feeling: I can still feel them here. It may come as a warmth that settles in the chest, or as an invisible companion moving softly through the house. Sometimes it's just a familiar stillness that falls over a room, like the space itself remembers them. Cayce described this not as haunting, but as harmony. The soul, he said, moves according to its emotional bonds. Where there is love, there is attraction. And where there is attraction, there is nearness. Love, in his words, is the one vibration that crosses every plane of existence. He often told those grieving that when they sense this presence, they are not imagining it. It is the soul's first act of reassurance, the departed one saying, "I'm still beside you. Don't be afraid." Many who experience this sign notice it comes during quiet moments, just before sleep, or when they're thinking of the person with tenderness rather than pain. The connection is emotional, not visual. It's the merging of 2 frequencies, one from the physical, one from the spiritual. Cayce also noted that this stage doesn't last indefinitely. As the departed soul adjusts to the higher realms, its visits become less frequent, not because it's gone, but because it has reached a place of peace. The living, too, slowly attune to that same calm. So when the air feels charged, or when you suddenly sense them standing nearby, don't rush to rationalize it away. Sit in that stillness. In Cayce's view, that's how love announces itself, silently, without spectacle, as presence itself. And in that quiet recognition, grief softens into something else, a kind of peace that doesn't come from forgetting, but from realizing that nothing real was ever lost. Sign 2. Dreams of the departed. Among all the ways the departed reach across the veil, dreams are the most direct. Edgar Cayce often said that the dream state is the one place where the barriers between worlds grow thin. When the body sleeps, the soul loosens its hold on physical senses and moves freely through the inner realms. That is where real communication can happen, not through words, but through energy and understanding. People who have lost someone often describe a particular kind of dream that feels unlike any other. The colors seem brighter, the emotions more vivid, the atmosphere filled with calm instead of confusion. You might wake up with tears on your face, not from sorrow, but from relief. These are not dreams in the ordinary sense. Cayce said they are visitations. According to him, the departed often appear in dreams not to startle us, but to comfort us. Sometimes they speak, sometimes they only smile. Other times they simply stand nearby, whole and radiant, letting their presence speak for itself. The important detail is how the dream feels. True visitation dreams carry peace. They feel complete, as if something long left unsaid has finally been understood. Cayce once explained that the higher self of the departed soul can reach into the dream state of the living to share reassurance or guidance. It is not imagination, it is resonance. The two souls meet in a field of consciousness that lies beyond time and matter. In that space, memory becomes presence again. Many people report these dreams appearing in the first months after a loss, though they can return years later, when we most need comfort. Cayce taught that the departed are sensitive to our emotional vibration. When grief softens and our hearts open, they can find a clearer path to reach us. If you have ever dreamed of someone you lost and woken with a deep, unexplainable calm, consider that a blessing, not coincidence. The dream itself is their message. Cayce said that when love speaks through the language of dreams, it is not the mind that listens, but the soul. Sign 3. Physical signs and small movements. Sometimes the departed do not speak through dreams or feelings. Sometimes their message comes through the physical world itself. A light flickers for no reason. A photograph tilts slightly on the shelf. The air moves though no window is open. Small things, almost unnoticeable, yet filled with meaning. Edgar Cayce explained that these are not coincidences. The energy of the departed, though subtle, still interacts with matter. He described the soul as pure vibration, and every vibration can influence the world of form. When love wishes to reach us, it looks for whatever doorway is open. Sometimes that doorway is a sound, a scent, or the shifting of something familiar. Cayce said that when a person passes, the life force that once animated the body does not disappear. It expands. For a time, it may linger near objects that hold emotional charge, a favorite chair, a locket, a photo, even the walls of the room where laughter once echoed. These are not hauntings in the way we imagine them. They are traces of attention, the soul's way of reminding us that connection has not ended. People who experience these signs often notice they occur during moments of strong emotion. You might be speaking their name, holding an item that belonged to them, or simply thinking about them with longing. Then something moves, or a light glows stronger, as if answering that thought. Cayce said that such moments are acts of alignment, when thought and love focus on one soul. A bridge forms between dimensions. It is easy to dismiss these things as tricks of the mind, but Cayce urged us not to hurry toward disbelief. The physical and the spiritual, he said, are not separate worlds, but two sides of one living reality. When love crosses that thin border, it leaves ripples in the fabric of matter. So if the light flickers when you speak their name, or the radio suddenly plays their favorite song, pause for a moment. Take it not as a disturbance, but as recognition. According to Cayce, the departed reach us in the ways we can receive. And sometimes the quiet movement of a small object is their way of saying, "I still see you." In his view, love is an energy that insists on being known. It will find a way to make itself visible, even if only for a heartbeat. Sign 4. Animals in nature responding. Of all the ways the departed make their nearness known, none are as gentle as the messages carried through animals in nature. Edgar Cayce often spoke of the deep harmony that connects every living thing. To him, nature was not a background to our lives, but a living expression of the divine. He said that animals are especially sensitive to spiritual vibrations because they live without the noise of intellect or doubt. They feel energy as it truly is. It is not uncommon for someone who has lost a loved one to notice strange moments with animals soon after. A pet suddenly stares at an empty corner, tail wagging or purring softly. A bird lands on a windowsill and refuses to leave. A butterfly hovers near a photograph or a grave and lingers as if carrying purpose. In Cayce's view, none of these things are accidental. He described the natural world as a kind of mirror through which spirit expresses its presence. When a soul departs, its vibration radiates outward, and those closest to the subtle planes, animals, birds, the flow of wind and water, respond. They reflect the change that has occurred, not as imitation, but as participation in love's continued motion. Many caretakers of animals have shared that their pets seem to sense the unseen long before humans do. Cayce said that animals perceive what we might call the aura of transition. They feel the gentle shifts of energy that mark the passage of a soul from one plane to another. For them, it is not frightening. It is natural. You may notice that in times of grief, animals draw closer to you. They rest their heads on your lap or sit beside you in silence. In these moments, they become bridges between worlds. Cayce believed that this is part of the design of creation, that nature in all its forms was meant to remind humanity that no soul is ever truly isolated. So when your cat follows something invisible through the air or a bird appears at your window again and again, take a breath. It may not be a random moment at all. It may be the universe echoing a message through its gentlest messengers, that love is not confined to form, and the ones you miss are still part of the living pattern that surrounds you. Sign 5. Synchronicities and numbers. Sometimes the presence of the departed reveals itself not through movement or touch, but through patterns that feel too precise to dismiss. Repeating numbers on clocks, songs that play at just the right moment, names or phrases that appear the instant you think of them. Edgar Cayce described these moments as echoes of intention, the spirit's way of using the order of the world to send reassurance. To him, nothing in creation was random. Every event, every alignment of time and symbol formed part of a vast rhythm of consciousness. Souls, he said, could move within that rhythm even after death, nudging gentle patterns into our awareness to remind us that love still speaks. Many people who experience loss begin to notice these small synchronicities soon after. They might wake at the same time each night, 3:33 or 4:44, or keep encountering a number that once held meaning between them and the person they lost. Others find that certain words or melodies surface repeatedly, as if summoned. Cayce explained that this is not coincidence, but response. When love concentrates on a memory, the universe rearranges itself around that thought. Numbers, he said, are the simplest form of divine communication. They require no language, no interpretation beyond recognition. Seeing them is not about superstition or luck. It is about awareness, realizing that consciousness continues to reach us through whatever form we can understand. The same principle applies to those uncanny alignments that follow deep grief. A stranger speaks a phrase your loved one used to say. A piece of mail arrives with their handwriting or initials. Even the timing of an event, a light turning on, a breeze lifting at a certain word, can be part of that communication. Cayce believed these moments occur when both the living and the departed are tuned to the same frequency of thought. When such things happen, the mind may hesitate, searching for logic, but the heart often knows first. It pauses, softens, and whispers, "That was them." In that instant, disbelief loses its grip. According to Cayce, the universe itself is alive with conversation. Every soul leaves ripples in that field. Synchronicity is simply the moment we notice those ripples touching our world again. So when the numbers repeat or the song plays just as you think of them, listen gently. It may be a reminder that you are not moving through life alone. The departed do not shout across the veil. They leave signs, small and precise, trusting that love will help you recognize them. Sign 6. The inner peace that appears suddenly. There comes a point in grief when something changes, quietly, almost without reason. You wake one morning and the weight in your chest is lighter. The tears still come, but they no longer feel like despair. They feel like gratitude. It is as if an unseen hand has touched your heart and whispered, "It's all right." Edgar Cayce said that this moment is not accidental. It is the final sign, the soul's gentle way of sending comfort to those left behind. He explained that after death, the departed continue to grow and heal, just as the living do. As their vibration stabilizes in the higher planes, they learn how to extend peace to those still in the physical world. That peace, Cayce said, travels not through words or visions, but through the current of love itself. Many people experience it in unexpected moments. You might be doing something ordinary, folding clothes, driving home, standing in a quiet room, when suddenly the heaviness inside you lifts. A warmth spreads through your chest, soft and complete. The mind tries to explain it away, but the heart knows what it feels. Presence. Cayce taught that love, once created, can never be destroyed. It only changes its form. When grief begins to soften, it is often because that love has found a new way to reach us. The departed no longer need to appear in dreams or move through the air. They become peace itself, flowing into our thoughts, our breath, our sense of calm. He urged people not to dismiss these moments as imagination. The sudden quiet joy, the inner steadiness after months of sorrow, is one of the most sacred signs that connection continues. The soul you mourn for has not left you. It has simply learned to love from another side. Cayce once said that when you feel a peace that seems larger than yourself, you are feeling the harmony of both worlds. The living and the departed meet there, in that still center where love has no borders. So when you find that peace arriving without warning, accept it. Let it settle inside you. It may be their final message saying, "You have carried enough pain, now carry love instead." Edgar Cayce's view of life after death was considered radical in his time. In an era when most people believed that death created an unbridgeable divide, he spoke of it as a continuation, a transformation rather than an ending. His message challenged religious institutions that taught separation and fear. Cayce's readings suggested that the divine was not somewhere distant, and the departed were not locked away in unreachable heavens. The sacred, he said, was woven through every breath, every thought, every act of love. He often reminded seekers that Jesus himself spoke of life eternal, not as a future promise, but as a present reality. To Cayce, death was not a punishment or an escape, but a doorway. Beyond it, souls awaken to a broader awareness, yet they remain connected to the world they helped shape. In that sense, communication with the departed was not taboo, it was natural. Love, he said, must keep expressing itself. It cannot stop because the body has fallen away. This idea frightened many in Cayce's time because it stripped away hierarchy. It suggested that ordinary people could experience divine truth directly through the language of the heart. There was no need for ritual or permission. The signs were everywhere. In the stillness of a room, in the whisper of a dream, in the sudden peace that replaces grief. For Cayce, these experiences were not miracles. They were reminders that the spiritual world is not separate from the physical one. He said the veil between them is thin and luminous, made of thought and emotion. When love reaches across that veil, it is not breaking a rule of nature, it is fulfilling one. So as you move through your own life, notice the quiet things, the calm that comes without warning, the memory that feels alive, the sense that someone unseen walks beside you. Cayce would say that these are not tricks of hope, but evidence of truth, that the departed remain near, learning, watching, loving, and waiting. And when the day comes that you too cross that threshold, he believed the pattern continues. You will look back, just as they do now, drawn by the same current of affection that never ends. In the end, Cayce's message was simple. The soul does not die. Love does not end. Consciousness is one great river, flowing through all forms, forever finding new ways to express itself. So when you feel that sudden stillness, that warmth that has no source, stop and listen. Someone you love may be whispering through it, not in sorrow, but in recognition. Because in truth, they never left. They only moved closer to the light, and closer to you.